Okay, in this video, I'm going to share with you a variation on one of Max Maven's Gilbreth performances that he gave at the conference Gathering for Gardener in April of 2016. Furthermore, after the performance, I'm going to point you to a video in which I explore all of the mathematics behind this routine and go deeply into why every single stage of the performance works. Okay, so we're going to just lay out all of the mathematics behind this because he doesn't actually talk about the mathematics in this presentation here. Okay, so let's get started. So what I thought I would do is just play a portion of his presentation. And what we'll do is we'll follow along with our own set of shapes, okay? Now he's going to use a set of ESP cards. I've decided to modify those. So as you'll see, instead of wavy lines, as he calls them, I use a rectangle. Instead of a cross, I use a heart, okay? But they will serve the same purpose, as you'll see. Okay, so I'll click play here. We'll have the volume off, but I'll go ahead and just narrate it as we go through it, and then actually in real time step through the actual mechanics of the performance itself so that you can perform this right away. Also, I want to point out that these very shapes that you see here, I will include downloadable PDFs in the description of this video that you'll be able to just click on and print those off, so you'll actually have the props for what I'm going to show you here. So I'll go ahead and hit play. Okay, so the magic of the Gilbreth principle by Max Maven. So let me jump to, I think he does 3 different presentations. We're going to jump to, I believe it's the second one. Okay, he explains that sometimes a riffle shuffle doesn't look like a riffle shuffle, and you'll see what he means in just a minute. And he mentions that he has a set of designs. He has 10 cards, and there's 2 sets, 5 distinct designs, okay? And as I mentioned, he has ESP cards, okay? So he's showing that he has 2 circles, 2 squares. I have 2 rectangles. He has 2 wavy lines. He has 2 crosses. I have 2 hearts. And then he also has 2 stars. And then he's going to randomly stack these. And then from there, he's going to perform something called a Charlier shuffle. Okay, he doesn't explain that, but a Charlier shuffle. And then he gives it to Mark, his assistant, and asks him to cut the packet wherever he would like. Okay, and now he's going to have Mark randomize the cards by drawing 1 card from the top or 1 card from the bottom, with the proviso that he can draw more than 1 card from the top or the bottom. It's his choice. Okay, so maybe he takes from the top and then maybe the bottom. I'm not going to do the same thing he did. Okay, you can watch him. A couple from the bottom, 1 from the top, another from the top, 1 from the bottom, last one on top. Okay, so it really is a free choice. All of those choices can be made by the spectator. Okay, now Mark is pretty slow here because I think he's concerned about making a mistake, right? Blowing Max Maven's presentation. Okay, so I think he's pretty nervous there. Okay, and then he has him pick them up. Okay, and now he's going to have him go into kind of a little spelling game. And so what he'll do is he's going to spell the 5 shapes. So he begins with star, S-T-A-R, and then you set the next card down. And then from star, he'll go to square, S-Q-U-A-R-E, set the next one down. Okay, very good. I'm a little faster, I guess. From there, I believe he goes to wavy lines. Ours is a rectangle, R-E-C-T-A-N-G-L-E. Set down the next one. And now he's going to have him spell cross. We'll spell heart, H-E-A-R-T. And now he'll do circle, C-I-R-C-L-E. Set down the next card. Okay, and then Max Maven kind of recaps All of this decisions that were made by the spectator that Max Maven had no control over. Okay, but despite that random set of decisions made by Mark, somehow his decisions led to a perfect dividing of the shapes, into two distinct piles, each one consisting of one of each of the 5 shapes. And then he congratulates him for a job well done. Okay, and then after the presentation, I actually take you through not only a mathematical explanation of where the Gilbreth principle comes in and how it comes in, I also dive deeply into his shape spelling system. Why does it work to spell out star, square, rectangle, heart, and circle in our case? Okay, so I call this a Gilbreth decryption key. And so here what I'm showing is the particular sequence of card shapes that he chose that have 4, 6, 9, 5, 6 letters in them with this transferring procedure is going to work beautifully to pull 2 complete sets of those 5 shapes where there's exactly 1 shape within each set. I show you why that works, okay? I got through every single step in that process, okay? Now the really interesting part that comes next, we look at something called the Surprisal. So for those who have been on my channel and I've explored many of the playlists, I have an entire playlist devoted to information theory, and in particular, surprisal theory. And so surprisal refers to the level or degree of surprise one would experience in witnessing the outcome of a random event. Okay, so less likely outcomes carry with them a larger surprisal value. And this is something that you can actually mathematically calculate. That's the amazing thing. You can actually calculate how surprised would a typical audience member be by this performance. Can you actually calculate that? And you can. And I do that in this video that I'm going to link in the description below. Okay, so what I do is I go through and actually calculate the surprisal value for this. It comes out to be log base 2 of 10 factorial. It's actually divided by 3,840 is what that was supposed to be with the correction, which increases the surprisal, which is nice. But it comes out to be actually 9.9 bits of surprisal. Okay, I wrote 8.9 because I was off by 1 because of a silly mistake that I correct here on screen. Okay, so what does that mean? So essentially 10 bits of surprisal, 9.9. We'll round it up to 10. So what does that mean? How do we interpret bits of surprisal? These are often called Shannon bits as well. So Claude Shannon is the one who is the father of information theory and came up with this idea of surprisal. Well, 10 bits of surprisal is the degree of surprise one would experience in witnessing someone else taking 10 fair coins, so they're balanced coins, 50-50 heads or tails, 10 fair coins, tossing them high up into the air, and while the coins are in the air, the person says, I predict that all 10 coins will land heads up. And guess what? They do. All 10 coins land and settle eventually on the table, and they're all heads up. So just viscerally kind of get a sense of, wow, how surprised would you be if somebody did that in real time right in front of you? No trick coins, actual legitimate fair coins. That's the degree of surprise associated with the very outcome of Max Maven's Gilbreth routine here with these 5 geometric shapes. Okay, that's a pretty large surprisal value. In fact, to give you an idea, many lotteries have a surprisal value somewhere between 15 and 20 bits. Okay, and what we just did here is 10. Okay, So that's pretty darn surprising, okay? And that's also something you can find on my channel. I go deep into, okay, how do you calculate surprisal for a whole bunch of different outcomes in card magic? Okay, so I have a whole series of videos that go into that. Okay, and even for some of the standard Gilbreth performances involving a Stebbins arrangement of the cards, I calculate the precise surprisal values in finding that every pair of cards consists of a red and a black. Every set of 4 cards has one of each suit. What's the surprisal associated with that outcome? And also, every set of 13 cards consisting of one of each of the 13 card values. What's the surprisal associated with that? How surprised will a spectator be by witnessing that performance? So those are different surprisal explorations I perform on my channel. And something nice for a lot of the math educators out there, all of the mathematics is actually done within Desmos, okay, where we can graph the probability functions, we can graph the surprisal functions, we can create tables of values where we can quickly look up, okay, if I have this many cards and if I have a certain kind of cyclic packet with cycle length X and I have Y of those and I perform a Gilbreth routine, what's the surprisal associated with the outcome of that routine? So how amazed or surprised will a typical spectator be? So thank you for watching, and take a look at other videos on the Absolute Math Magic channel.